Hey everybody, Avatar Theory here, and in today's video I'll be taking a look at the limited edition 1/10 scale Neytiri statue by Iron Studios. The statue itself is based on The Way of Water, as it features Neytiri from the Battle Diorama series with an ocean base where you can see beneath the waves, with incredible details such as the waves splashing plants and even fish. Neytiri is in an action pose, holding her bow with striking details on her face. The statue is mostly made from polystone and is hand painted, with small details really popping out, making this by far one of my favorite collectibles ever. But if you have any questions on the statue, then drop them below and I'll get back to you. But first, let's look at the box. Alright, so with this being my very first Iron Studios statue, I think they did a phenomenal job with the box itself. Neytiri is front and center of the box, with the bright blue colors popping out, which really adds to the feel and look of the statue. At the top you can see the scale of the statue, and BDS refers to their Battle Diorama series that I mentioned earlier. The back of the box shows the entire statue, which gives you somewhat of a preview on the item and is a good reference point when assembling the parts, because unfortunately there is no documents or instructions with this statue, but it is fairly easy to assemble. The dimensions, as seen on the screen right now, makes this a sizable statue, and the weight with the box is just under 3 kilograms, so if you're importing this like I did, keep that in mind with the shipping costs. I pre-ordered this statue from Sideshow Collectibles last year, and although it was delayed, it only took about 3 days to deliver once the statue was released, which is impressive considering I live in Norway and it shipped all the way from the US. All the parts in the box was packaged securely, and thankfully there were no broken pieces, as that is always a concern with an item being shipped across the seas. As you can see, there isn't that many parts to assemble, as most of the body is one piece, whereas the head, tail and arm are the only separate parts of the body. The detail on the head sculpt is quite impressive, as Neytiri's hair is all waved to the one side and is a solid piece, unlike some hot toys which often uses materials for hair parts. The ocean base is a solid piece with colorful plants showcasing the detail from Iron Studios, but I did want to be careful while holding it, as some of the smaller plants does feel like it can break off easily. The body part is one solid piece that does not have any material parts to it, and the paint accurately represents the character from the movies. From the clothing to the stripes on the body, especially the feet, they all were done with fantastic detail. The waves with the rocks in the middle is certainly a standout of the statue, and at first when looking at the waves, I actually thought that it was damaged, but then I realized that the white parts is just the ocean foam, which again shows the attention to the detail on this figure. It is a solid base, but I can easily see this breaking if one has to accidentally drop it on the floor. Once assembled, I could not help but smile ear to ear because of the beauty from the statue. It really captures the essence of Neytiri with her bow in hand, ready to strike at the RDA. The bow itself has a string on it, which can be pulled back a bit to fit the arrow, but be careful because it can break easily. The arrow does have feather-like textures on the back, which makes it even more authentic, and looking at the size, compared to say a PlayStation 5 controller is quite large. It is of course smaller than the box itself, but would still make for a fantastic display piece. Looking at the bottom of the statue, the hammerbrow fish does have some detail to it, but I feel they could have added a bit more to the detail on the fish, as it looks a bit cheap compared to the rest of the statue, as does the feathertail fish on the other side, or at least I believe it is the feathertail fish. However, looking at it from afar, you don't really notice it too much, but I would still like a bit more detail on them. When the whole piece comes together, it is certainly one of the best collectibles I've ever seen, and certainly the best I own. From the detail on the face, the way the hair is positioned, the clothing on the statue, it really is a fantastic piece. There may be some areas where the paint isn't that great, but it is hardly noticeable when the statue is sitting on your shelf, next to your TV, or wherever you wish to display this figure. Overall, I am very impressed by this. And with Jake Sully releasing later this year, it'll certainly make for a perfect set. But what are your thoughts on the statue? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like what I do here and want to support the channel even more, then why not subscribe or consider supporting me on Patreon, or perhaps by becoming a channel member. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.